Hello and welcome. We're watching NDTV and we're bringing you the results which have more or less, I think, firmed up now. And it's not exactly, what was expected, not what the exit polls had predicted, not that 400 par slogan either. It's not even 300 par yet, but 293. And what we can say is Narendra Modi will be forming the next government. So that in itself is quite a record.
Absolutely. It's a big election. And this election has, ladies and gentlemen, once again reaffirmed the power of the Indian voter. Though the Prime Minister is getting a third term, may even inch close to 300, but a stronger opposition is what the voters of India have put their faith in. We'll get you all the latest, a lot that is happening. Phone calls are being made from one party to another. All that latest coming in with the most sharp analysis here on NDTV. Let's take a look at the headlines.
First, let's take a look at the headlines at this hour. And the first reaction from the Modi government, Union Minister Kiren Rijiju to NDTV says no doubt that Modi is returning as the Prime Minister. And he says about the numbers that Jo Jeeta Wahi Sikandar. The NDA scores a simple majority as the India bloc is crossed 200 at 230. The Congress currently at 99. The BJP at 242. But the big story of this election has been the Samajwadi Party and its performance in Uttar Pradesh. Its best ever in a Lok Sabha poll. The India bloc rides the Akhilesh wave. And it's a return to coalition politics. It's a return of the regional parties with the Samajwadi Party, Trinamool, TDP, also the Sena performing, the Trinamool Congress maintaining its lead in West Bengal, and TDP makes a stunning comeback in Andhra Pradesh. In fact, celebrations for the TDP as Chandrababu Naidu is going to be taking that oath. Jagan concedes defeat. The TDP has a spectacular show and the oath-taking ceremony will take place on June 9th. All right, so those numbers coming in 296 for the NDA. It's been quite a spectacular, showing by the India bloc, 229 and nothing what the exit polls had predicted. I think that's also going to be a big talking point and something that's going to need its own analysis about the exit polls. And
I think it was a different election that the exit polls, the trends that they have picked up, and a very different election that actually happened on the ground. But let's, for a moment, go across to my colleague Vedant, who's joining us at this moment. He's outside Mr. J.P. Nadda's residence, the president of the Bharatiya Janata Party. His house is going to be now a center of a lot of activities in the next 24 hours.
Already there's been a meeting which was held over there. Yes.
Nazir Masoodi, our colleague, is also joining us from Jammu and Kashmir. But Vedant, to you first. All the hotlines would be, in fact, ringing from Mr. Nadda's residence to every ally. They are much, much more important than they were in the last 10 years for the BJP.
Absolutely, Ankit. I come to from right outside JP Nadda's residence here in the national capital, where currently Rajnath Singh and Amit Shah are present. That key meeting is underway. What we're picking up from our sources, there are two aspects to this meeting. First, of course, calls being made to allies. As you rightly pointed out, Chandrababu Naidu has been reached out to by the Prime Minister himself. In fact, allies in Bihar also have been reached out to, including Chirag Paswan and Jitan Ram Majhi, crucial allies of the BJP. So that, of course, happening. But the other important thing here, Ankit, what we're picking up from our sources is that the strategy meet is also to discuss a unified message that will be sent out. Because remember, nobody in the top leadership has so far responded or reacted to the results that have come in. And let me tell you something very interesting also, Ankit. It was on the exit polls day, in fact, that the BJP media cell had circulated a message amongst all beat reporters saying that the Prime Minister will be making his victory speech at 7 p.m. This message was circulated on the exit polls day itself. And what we're picking up from our sources is that the Prime Minister will continue with that plan. The Prime Minister is expected to be at the BJP headquarters at about 7 p.m. is what we are picking up. And that is when he will make that victory speech, quote-unquote victory speech, at the BJP headquarters. So that is going to be crucial as well. The focus right now is to sort of look at what message has to be sent out. Of course, two important parts of that messaging, as sources indicate. One is the focus on Andhra and Odisha. That is something that will be the key focus of, that could be the key focus of the messaging of the BJP's top leadership tonight, because those are among the BJP's catchment areas, certainly. And secondly would be the Labharti model and how that has yielded and how that has paid dividends. That's what we are picking up from our sources. Remains to be seen what happens exactly, but these are the two key aspects of the meeting currently taking place here at Mr. Nadda's residence. It's been about Mr. Raj and Amit Shah arrived here.
Reporting from outside JP Nadda's
So
residence over there. But let's listen in to Rajiv Chandrasekhar, Union Minister, who, you know, it seemed for a moment he was giving Shashi Tharoor quite that fight. But let's listen in. He has lost to Shashi Tharoor.
Communities and certain narratives that were put out there by the parties that maybe we were not able to break through and we were not able to expose.
Will you able to continue here in Trivandrum?
No, my commitment to Tirunelveli is 100% total. It has nothing to do with me being a successful Lok Sabha MP or not. I have said when I came here on the 5th of March, it is my mission to transform Tirunelveli, and I stand by my mission. And all my colleagues in the BJP and my fellow Karyakartas stand by our mission to take Tirunelveli forward.
So BJP opened an account in Kerala.
We are very, very happy. We are very excited, and we think it marks a very, very important milestone in the growth and expansion of the BJP in Kerala and in the south of India. Suresh Gopi has worked very, very hard in the Trichur for the last 10 years. He has contested earlier. This is his third time at electoral politics, and to win by such a huge, decisive margin and to put the Congress candidate into third place is certainly a very, very important signal and certainly an important encouragement for the BJP in particular in Thrissur and in Kerala in general.
In center, BJP didn't cross 400 bar.
No, obviously it is disappointing given the fact that the last 10 years our Prime Minister has worked very hard and transformed India significantly. The expectation was that the NDA would be 350 to 400, and we have come short as I see it on TV. We will see the results, and we will see what the party and the leadership decides. Thank you. Thank you.
Rajiv Chandrasekhar there after losing to Shashi Tharoor, who has won once again from Thiruvananthapuram, but the lotus has bloomed in Kerala, and you do have Suresh Gopi of the BJP who has won from Thrissur. So that in itself is fairly remarkable. Remember how the left, in fact, mocked this idea that the BJP could even win any seat. But yes, one seat. So Ankit, that is something quite significant in this particular election, symbolically, that the BJP has managed to win that one seat.
That's right. And in fact, there is a story as far as the union ministers are also concerned, though couple of ministers like Mr. Rijiju, who spoke to us a little while back, and also Anurag Thakur, they have been able to win with a big margin, but as many as 11 ministers from the Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government at this moment are either trailing or have lost this election, including Smriti Irani from Amethi. She was the giant killer.
That is the big story.
She was the giant killer in 2019, defeating Rahul Gandhi. This time, tables have completely turned, and she's trailing by over 1 lakh votes as we speak at this moment. But for the moment, let's just shift our focus to Jammu and Kashmir. Nazir Masoodi, our colleague, joining us from there. Important, Nazir, as we've been discussing, Jammu and Kashmir results would be seen with the prism of what is coming up as far as the state is concerned.
The former chief ministers of the state, Omar Abdullah and Mehbooba Mufti, both losing.
Well, both the regional parties have lost their faith in this election. Mehbooba Mufti and Omar Abdullah have lost this election. And when we talk about, political parties making calls to the leaders and the new MPs, will there be any call to Engineer Rashid, who is in Tihar jail for last 5 years, facing terror funding charges, be it BJP or the Congress, for his support? So he has won. He's a giant killer. He has defeated Omar Abdullah with a record margin. Already, when the counting is going on, he was leading by more than 2 lakh votes. And Sajjad Lone, who had backing of all the parties and accused of being Team B of BJP, has come number 3. Mehbooba Mufti has also been defeated by National Conference leader Mia Altaf in Anantnag constituency. In a sense, if we see, This is a vote for the people who are seen on the right side of the political sentiment. And also in Ladakh, BJP and Congress candidates have been defeated by independent candidate Haji Hanifa Jan. And I am joined by Sajjad Hussain Kargili, who is from Kargil Democratic Alliance, whose candidate was Hanifa Jan. You are also a candidate, but you withdrew in support of Haji Hanifa Jan. So you have finally won the seat and defeated both Congress and the BJP. But will you be part of India Alliance?
Thank you, Nazir Saab. People of Ladakh, they have rejected the decision which the government has taken on 5th August 2019. The first message people of Kargil have sent in 2023 during council elections, and this is the second message. The entire people of Ladakh, they have sent again this message that people of Ladakh have rejected this UT setup for Ladakh. Also, they extending their support. They extended their support with this referendum, which we call the referendum. Today's result resembles a referendum for Ladakhi people, that we are in support of the 4-point agenda which is taken forward by both KDA and Apex body. So I congratulate people of Ladakh, and also especially Haji Hanifa Jan. Our unity has won. We, the people of Ladakh, today we can articulate resoundingly.
But you are this election campaign was riding on the protests and the agitation for the statehood and the special status under the 6th schedule, which you have lost under 370. But you have been also now talking about reunion with the Jammu and Kashmir.
Yeah, certainly, because we, the people of Ladakh and our KDA, we went to Supreme Court. We were the petitioners in Supreme Court against the abrogation of Article 370. We have articulated the same thing during council elections, and now we are repeatedly again saying this thing, that we want to reunion with Jammu and Kashmir if government is not ready to give us separate statehood for Ladakh.
Thank you so much, Sajjad Hussain Kargili. So Kargil celebrating, Ladakh celebrating. They have defeated both Congress official candidate Haji Hanifa Jan is an unofficial candidate of National Conference. So while National Conference leader Umar Abdullah has lost elections, it has actually won 3 seats. One in Ladakh, Srinagar seat, and also South Kashmir, Anantnag seat as well. But people have made a statement after really politics remain in a suspended animation for last 5 years. People were frozen in fear.
Okay.
They have made a statement which side of the political narrative they are, or also
Right,
what
and
political
you could
party
see the
has said.
assembly elections
This
as well,
election is a
taking place soon,
This
given
year,
the
of
election
course.
commission was so happy with the kind of voter turnout. But let's listen into what Union Minister Anurag Thakur had to say.
लगातार जिताने का मैं हमीरपुर संसदीय क्षेत्र की जनता का आभार प्रकट करता हूं, भारतीय जनता पार्टी के कार्यकर्ताओं का जिन्होंने दिन रात एक करके मेहनत की, और माननीय प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी जिनके नेतृत्व में हमने 10 साल इस देश को आगे बढ़ाया है, और देश ने एक बार फिर मन बनाया है, फिर एक बार मोदी सरकार बनाने। और ये सरकार स्थिर निरंतर भी होगी। ईमानदार दमदार नेतृत्व मोदी जी का फिर मिलेगा, और हमारा देश नई ऊंचाइयों पर मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में बढ़ेगा, ऐसा मुझे पूर्ण विश्वास है। देश की जनता का आभार प्रकट करता हूं जिन्होंने भारतीय जनता पार्टी एनडीए को जिताया और एक बार फिर सेवा करने का अवसर दे रहे हैं। सबका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। हिमाचल प्रदेश की चारों लोकसभा सीटें एक बार फिर भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने जीती है। हिमाचल प्रदेश ने चौका लगाया है, और मोदी सरकार को बनाने में एक बार फिर हिमाचल ने अपनी भूमिका निभाई। मोदी जी को बहुत बहुत बधाई।
Okay, so that is the Union Minister Anurag Thakur. He's won,
I
in
think
fact.
the other talk from Himachal is Kangana Ranaut has defeated Vikramaditya Singh as
That's,
well. So
that's also, this election, Gargi, is more or less like a normal Indian election, where there are stories after stories in various constituencies, and all in different states, a very different story is being played out, where some gains for the India Alliance or the NDA from uncharted territories, and some bastions have completely been
let's
demolished.
Introduce our panelists now who've been waiting very patiently. Satya Prakash Mishra, leader JDU, with us in studio. Nishta Gautam, a political analyst, also with us. We're also joined by Sumitra Goenka, political analyst, and Meeta Chakrabarti, a spokesperson of the Congress party. They're joining us. And Meeta Chakrabarti, first to you, a much better showing than what was expected, what the exit polls had also predicted for the Congress party, and now with 99 hovering near that 100 mark, it keeps going to 100 and then coming down. What are your first reactions to the numbers right now?
Okay, first of all, we are still hopeful that the actual numbers and the actual tally will be more than what is being shown and what is being predicted now. I know that there are constituencies where the margin or where the difference is very, very tight. It's going to be a very tight contest in those constituencies, and we are hoping that our final numbers will be better than what is being shown right now.
That's exactly what the BJP spokesperson had also said just a short while ago. But yes, go ahead.
So yes, I do agree with that part of the BJP spokesperson statement that it's a close contest and it can go either ways, right? So I think both of us are effectively saying the same thing. And finally, yes, the fact that Congress has doubled the numbers and probably the India Alliance is performing much better than what was being projected, is probably because we have come together to safeguard the secular and fabric of the country, to safeguard the constitution and the federal structure of the country. And the fact that Rahul Gandhi ji took out Bharat Jodo Yatra and Bharat Jodo Nyay Yatra, he walked for 4,000 kilometers. Our manifesto is just not being prepared by our manifesto team, but it's fact, it has the inputs that Rahul Gandhi ji gathered and his team gathered during the Bharat Jodo Yatra and the Bharat Jodo Nyay Yatra.
Meeta, may I quickly ask you one? May I just intervene and ask you one question very quickly before we move on to our other guest? If let's presume, because it's already we are almost 4 o'clock, so largely a lot of fluctuation is not expected as far as these numbers are concerned, barring a few couple of seats here and there. If these numbers solidify at the end of the day, 294 to the NDA, 231 to India bloc, is the game still open for the Congress party? Are you still in the market to form the government? Are you reaching out to a Chandrababu Naidu and also to somebody who started the India Alliance, then of course Nitish Kumar went back to the NDA? So is the Congress still in the market in a hope of a government, or is it going to be an NDA government with a stronger opposition?
I believe our leaders are talking to different like-minded political organizations. However, this is not something that I'm in a position to disclose in a television studio debate. Of course, these are closed-door meetings, these are closed-door conversations that are taking place. Now, going back to what I was trying to say, that we did not get a level playing field. The fact that our bank accounts were frozen a few months back, the fact that there were chief ministers from opposition parties who got arrested, or the fact that opposition leaders were being constantly harassed by ED, CBI and income tax, and also the fact that the opinion polls and exit polls got it so wrong. They were way off the mark. A part of media was highly compromised. The opposition parties never got a level playing field. Despite that, we went to the people of India, we went and we spoke to them, we had the yatras, and hard work always pays off.
Nishta,
and the results are showing that. We are hopeful that the results will actually be still better.
In Jharkhand, where we see where the former chief minister was put in prison, there seems to be some sympathy that he's gaining. His wife campaigned, she became a big factor as far as the campaign is concerned, Kalpana Soren. But the same cannot be applied in a state like Delhi, where the chief minister was also sent into prison. He made this entire campaign about jail ka jawab vote se. In that sense, the voters have rejected this narrative in the national capital, though they have completely bought this narrative of sympathy as far as Jharkhand is concerned.
Because there is a difference when it comes to both the parties that have tried to play the same card. The Aam Aadmi Party came into being by attacking the Congress Party when the Congress Party led UPA government was in power. So you just have to understand that the voter is actually not a fool. And this election has actually reaffirmed everybody's faith in the voters' intelligence that even before Mr. Kejriwal was put in jail or any such thing was happening, any action by the agencies was directed against him, the moment he became part of the alliance and shook hands with the Congress party, the core voter was upset. What has he done?
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
but we've seen that in Delhi, it votes differently, Assembly votes differently in the Lok Sabha elections. But Satya Prakash Mishra ji, congratulations firstly on the performance in Bihar. And I want to take from what Ankit had asked the Congress party about phone lines being worked. So many phone calls coming to Nitish Kumar.
There are so many phone lines going so many places. But one thing is very clear. Nitish Kumar is very much stick to NDA. He has supported Narendra Modi's prime ministership. And Narendra Modi ji has extended all the support to Nitish Kumar ji's chief ministerialship. So there is no acrimony between both the leaders. Both are on the same plane. Recently he
But
met.
what if some
No,
offer
not at
was
all.
made, some sort of offer?
No, anybody can-
End of
It's
the
not
day,
that you've not
he
done
stitched
business with them
together
before.
the India
You've been in the
alliance.
business with the alliance.
The India bloc was
we
his
understand
brainchild
that,
in a
but
sense.
we are very small party with 15 and 14 seats going to win in Bihar. Definitely NDA performed well in Bihar. We are very much thankful
Sir,
to the
I'm
people
sorry,
of
I'm
Bihar. But the
interrupting you
last one line I want to do. Whosoever will be forming the government.
आ गई है या बहुत धीरे धीरे हो रहा है, यानी
Congress
हर
party
आधे
speaking at this
घंटे
moment,
में
let's listen in.
वो आंकड़ा अपडेट नहीं हो रहा है इलेक्शन कमीशन की वेबसाइट पे। ये हमारी कंप्लेंट थी। दो कंप्लेंट्स थी, एक तो कि संसदीय क्षेत्र के अनुसार ऐसा कोई अपडेशन नहीं है ही नहीं, और दूसरा जो असेंबली सेगमेंट्स के अनुसार राउंड बाय राउंड आता है आंकड़ा, वो भी बड़े विलंब के साथ अपडेट हो रहा है। ये दो मुद्दे थे। तो हमने कहा इससे एक प्रश्न चिन्ह उठता है, चुनाव के जो पूरी एक स्पष्टता होती है और निष्पक्षता होती है उस पर अननेसेसरीली बिना कारण के एक प्रश्न चिन्ह उठता है। तो इसको जल्दी होना चाहिए। हमने कोई ऐसे आरोप नहीं लगाया, हमने कहा कि हमको चाहिए एक सीधा आदेश चुनाव आयोग के केंद्रीय स्थल से कि ये जल्द से जल्द अपडेट हो। चुनाव आयोग ने हमको बड़े आदर के साथ सुना और कहा कि जहाँ तक संसदीय क्षेत्र का मामला है तो ये अपडेशन पहले भी नहीं होता था, अब भी संभव नहीं है, क्योंकि ये आंकड़े आते हैं असेंबली सेगमेंट वाइज। तो असेंबली सेगमेंट वाइज जो आंकड़े आते हैं उनको अपडेट वो तब करते हैं जब एक असेंबली सेगमेंट अगर साथ हैं एक संसदीय क्षेत्र में, वहाँ पहले आता है तो वो पहले हो जाता है, जहाँ बाद में आता है वहाँ बाद में होता है। इसलिए दोनों में समय का थोड़ा अंतर रहता है। इस बात को उन्होंने बड़े विस्तार से समझाया कि किसी रूप से वो विलंब नहीं होने देंगे। वो आदेश भी देंगे कि जो असेंबली सेगमेंट के अनुसार उसके आधार पर जो अपडेशन होना चाहिए वो जल्द से जल्द हो। और मैं समझता हूँ कि अगर ये आदेश तुरंत चला जाए, क्योंकि कुछ घंटे बचे हैं गणना में, तो ये एक प्रकार से हल होगा। बड़े एक सौहार्द के साथ ये बातचीत हुई और हमने उनको धन्यवाद किया हमको जल्द से जल्द अपॉइंटमेंट देने के लिए। एक और मुद्दा है जिसके बारे में मेरे दोस्त बोलेंगे, मैं अंग्रेजी में संक्षेप में बोल दूँ। वी वेंट टू द इलेक्शन कमीशन at short notice to convey a concern of ours. It was more a concern, less a complaint. We are very happy that they gave us time at very short notice. They heard us.
They're speaking about how the counting has come to a stop with some sort of interruptions there. But let's go across to Maharashtra now, where Nana Patole is speaking, and that's been the big story to watch in Maharashtra. Let's listen in.
चांगले निर्णय करू असा माझा विश्वास है।
ना महाराष्ट्र के भीतर जिस तरीके से तोड़फोड़ हुई, जिस तरीके से 2.5 साल में सरकार चलाई गई, क्या उसकी वजह से जनता ने ये अपना निकाल दिया आप लोगों की तरफ से? और लगातार कांग्रेस से कह रही थी कि महाराष्ट्र के भीतर जो चल रहा है उससे ज्यादा भयानक पूरे देश भर में चल रहा है। वो सारी चीजें जनता तक पहुंचा पाए और बीजेपी कहीं न कहीं निगेटिव हुई, क्योंकि अब बीजेपी के नेता कह रहे हैं कि महाराष्ट्र में दो समाजों में झगड़ा लड़ाकर और जीत की गई।
देखो, झगड़ा लड़ाने में तो बीजेपी की उस्तादी है। मराठा ओबीसी का झगड़ा महाराष्ट्र में उन्होंने लड़ाया, धनगर आदिवासियों का झगड़ा लड़ाया, कितनी कौमों के झगड़े लड़ाया, उसका जवाब तो उनको ही देना है। झगड़े हमने नहीं लड़ाए, सत्ता में तो वो लोग बैठे हैं। सत्ता में बैठकर अपनी गलती करने का, अपनी झगड़े लड़ाना और लोगों के मूल इश्यू को डाइवर्ट करना। महंगाई के बारे में बीजेपी ने क्यों बात नहीं की? किसानों के बारे में नरेंद्र मोदी ने क्यों बात नहीं की? बेरोजगारी के बारे में क्यों बात नहीं की? गरीबों के बारे में क्यों नहीं बात की? आखिर ये सब सवाल का जवाब जनता मांग रही थी, लेकिन बीजेपी खुद की
वही मैं कह रहा हूं.
All right, Nana Patole there speaking, saying no one is greater than the public. I think that has been the story, democracy, the voter, the silent voter.
Gargi, this is a very interesting graph that we are showing at this moment. It's a very, very interesting data. Look at the swing, because before this election, the only talk was that the difference between the BJP and the opposition, or the NDA and the opposition, is mammoth difference with the kind of vote share that they had last time. Now, there has been a 17% swing in Maharashtra. 17% swing is a wave swing. I mean, it's not a usual swing that you will see in a usual election. So what this has done is largely, at least when you were in the ground and people were traveling in Maharashtra, this was a result possibly that the breaking up of two regional parties, two regional satraps, that did not go down well as far as the voters are concerned, and that is the punishment that they have.
Reporters and analysts who had actually, been on the ground spoke of this sympathy wave on the ground. But let's go across now. Omar Abdullah is speaking. He has lost. He conceded a short while ago.
मुकाबला मुश्किल होगा. शुरू में अल्लाह ताला को वो मंजूर नहीं था. वो सेकुलर के लोगों ने जो फैसला सुनाया है वो हमारे सिर आंखों पे. मैं जानता था कि ये मुकाबला मुश्किल, और जिस तरह का सेंटिमेंट बना, जिस तरह नौजवानों ने, हमारी माओं ने, बहनों ने इंजीनियर रशीद की रिहाई के लिए वोट डाले, नतीजा अब आपके सामने है. लेकिन चलिए, कभी कभार इलेक्शन में जो है हार जीत होती है. ये पहली मर्तबा मैं पार्लियामेंट का इलेक्शन हारा हूँ. अब आगे देखते हैं क्या होता है. सॉरी, मुझे ये भी, क्योंकि मैं जम्मू कश्मीर में ही फंस गया. जहाँ तक मुल्क भर के नतीजों की अगर हम बात करें तो दिल खुश हुआ. हम शायद इससे ज्यादा उम्मीद कर रहे थे, लेकिन एग्जिट पोल्स गलत साबित हुए. वो जम्मू कश्मीर के बारे में भी गलत साबित हुए और बाकी मुल्क के बारे में गलत साबित हुए. जिस तरह अखिलेश ने यूपी में किया, ममता दीदी ने वेस्ट बंगाल में, स्टालिन साहब ने तमिलनाडु में, शरद पवार साहब और उद्धव ठाकरे ने महाराष्ट्र में, और जिस तरह कांग्रेस ने राहुल गांधी और खड़गे साहब और प्रियंका जी ने, जिस तरह कांग्रेस की टैली जो है लगभग अब 100 पे वो टच कर रहे हैं. एग्जैक्ट फिगर्स मेरे पास अभी है नहीं. कोई भी एग्जिट पोल के बाद ये सोच भी नहीं सकता था कि इतनी अच्छी परफॉर्मेंस ऑपोजिशन की रहेगी. बीजेपी जो 370 की बात कर रहे थे, जो 400 पार की बात कर रहे थे, अब उनको कोalition गवर्नमेंट चलानी होगी. अब इस वजीर आजम के लिए, जिन्होंने अपने हुकूमत को एक डिक्टेटरशिप के तौर.
And senior BJP leader Prakash Javadekar is joining us live. Mr. Javadekar, I appreciate your time. Certainly a huge shocker coming for your party from the state from where you come, that is Maharashtra.
Yeah, but I have two things. I am in charge of Kerala. So Kerala is giving us good news. And one seat we have already won. And two seats very close. So that is one, and that is first time after 75 years the bipolar politics had changed, and now BJP has arrived in a real manner. This is because of Modi ji's vision, efforts, focus, and all Karyakartas working together. All this has happened. But as far as Maharashtra is concerned, let us understand what happened. In 2019, Shiv Sena fought along with BJP as a united front, as a UT, and we won 160 seats. This was a clear mandate given by voters to BJP Shiv Sena alliance to rule. In that, BJP was 105 and 5 additional members supporting us, plus Shiv Sena was 50. But they wanted chief ministership. So how it will be possible?
But
And
Mr.
we
Javadekar,
did-
for all
one
that
minute.
has gone in the past,
No,
what
that is not
this
past.
mandate, would you
That is-
agree,
that has a
suggests
relevance- no,
that,
that has a
that it
relevance
is the
today.
people of Maharashtra
No,
who have
I'll
today
tell you.
settled that debate of which
No,
is the
not
real
that
Shiv
debate.
Sena and which is
Not
the real
that debate.
NCP?
No, that is not the debate I am talking about. I am talking about one Shiv Sena which was with BJP and we won the mandate. They betrayed the public mandate in 19, and because they wanted to chief ministership, they aligned with the opposition parties, that is NCP and Congress. So that is the real history. From there on, Maharashtra's politics was always in problem. Now what happened? They could not keep their folk together. 40 MLAs from their parties, if they are dissatisfied and they don't want to be in that party, they joined us. And let me tell you, this is a very temporary thing what has happened. Now there will be assembly elections and you will see people also realize that this is what they have done.
Yes.
First betrayal from Shiv Sena. That is the reason.
Okay, you're calling this betrayal from the Shiv Sena, but would you agree, and I'll repeat my question, that given the kind of mandate which has come for Uddhav Thackeray's Shiv Sena and also for NCP of Sharad Pawar, it is the people of Maharashtra who have settled that debate of the legacy of these parties?
I think that you will have to ask the Shiv Sena and NCP MLAs. We are one and we are we take everybody along, but that doesn't mean we are not settling the dispute among them. We don't know, and we're not interested also.
Okay, will you accept that overall it's your allies who have pulled you down in Maharashtra? Your numbers went down because of Ajit Pawar and Eknath Shinde.
Today I am not talking about Maharashtra. I am talking about Kerala. I am in Kerala.
Okay.
And Kerala, we have registered a massive, now at 6 p.m. we will have a gathering, all the three candidates. You know, Attingal and this Trivandrum, so near, so close. So first time BJP has arrived on scene. It's a huge development in the South India. And therefore, that is important. As far as Maharashtra is concerned or all India level is concerned, ours is a thinking party. It takes stock. But we don't discuss what has happened and what is not happened, what could have been done, what should not have been done. That everything we discuss, but that we discuss in party meetings, not on TV screens.
All right, Mr. Javadekar, really appreciate your time. So certainly you have one reason to celebrate as the party in charge of Kerala, but being someone who belongs to the state of Maharashtra, there is a lot of introspection that the BJP certainly has to do. There's a lot of visuals that were coming in of Supriya Sule, who has won from Baramati, Ankit, an important constituency there.
Maria, what Mr. Javadekar did today, it tells you the story of the day. All political parties will look at the places where they have made gains, but they will be reluctant to speak about the places where the political parties have not been able to break even.
In fact,
as Maria was saying, that this is Supriya Sule, one of the most fascinating contests of election 2024, the Pawar versus Pawar battle.
Yes.
That's right. So maybe undue attention was paid to that, given the way the Pawar NCP has.
No, but it's interesting, Gargi. I was there on ground zero, and the message that was there was that for people of Baramati, it was Sharad Pawar, the giant, the patriarch of the party.
You're right. Even Ajit Pawar camp was using Sharad Pawar's photo in their posters. He had that kind of an influence, and he has re-established his stamp, his authority as the real Shiv Sena, as the real NCP as far as politics of Maharashtra is concerned, no matter what.
Well, to talk more about this, we're joined by Sumitra Goenka. And Sumitra, we'd like to ask you, so your big takeaways from these election results so far. Maharashtra has been a big talking point. The BJP winning that one, prestige seat in Kerala has been a big talking point. And then the Samajwadi Party and its performance in Uttar Pradesh.
First of all, a big lesson is that the exit polls got it all wrong. And that is one of the biggest lessons. And while I was expecting some of the swing states, Maharashtra being one of them, because I had recently been to Maharashtra and I am a Mumbaiite, so I know the pulse of the state. So I was expecting some jitters there, but this is more than what I was expecting. Secondly, Uttar Pradesh has really turned out to be a game changer here. And I was really not expecting this kind of result in UP. I think these two states are one of the biggest numbers.
Okay, ma'am, what we'll do, we'll slip into a short break. But as you were saying, the biggest lesson is to take the exit poll with caution. If any neta who had brought in laddus because they thought that they are winning, today is possibly not the day
and I'm
that
sure
you could have.
Many of those pollsters must be crying right now. But let's slip into a short break and we'll return with more. Welcome back. You're watching NDTV and we're bringing you the election results, which are more or less firmed up now. In fact, we can go across to our reporters and,
That's where the action is.
Absolutely.
Right now, the action is on the field. Our colleagues are joining us. Pratibha Raman from Bengaluru.
And I can see a lot of crowd behind Saurabh and Radhika because Saurabh there in Kolkata and Radhika reporting from Mumbai. You're still at the Shiv Sena office, Radhika? Tell us about what's happening over there.
That's right. I'm still at Shiv Sena Bhavan and celebrations are still going on here. In fact, there were a lot of crackers that were burst just about a few minutes back. And as you can see, they were throwing colors at each other as well. So a lot of Sena workers gathered here. And of course, they've called victory. This is obviously a big day for Uddhav Sena. Uddhav Thackeray, Sharad Pawar had been having this legacy battle of sorts, identity battle of sorts for the last 2 years. And this is a vindication of sorts. But let me also show you that poster that's put up right outside Sena Bhavan, which says, which in Marathi it says, do you know who the real Shiv Sena is? And the public have in fact proved who the real Shiv Sena is. That's what it says. And then it says the next objective for Uddhav Sena is assembly. Of course, assembly elections are just a few months away. This is a prelude to assembly elections. So it is a privilege battle that we saw playing out as far as Lok Sabha is concerned. Post the split, the first time that an election of this sort happening. Of course, it was just NDA versus UPA in 2019. Now in 2024, a whole lot of realignments happening, splits happening, and internal feuds also taking place. But in a sense, this is, for Sena, for Uddhav Sena and for Sharad Pawar, this is vindication for sure, because they've been calling themselves the original Sena and original NCP. They lost the symbol, they lost the name, but they still put up a big fight in Maharashtra, which is what is being felt and seen on ground. Almost about 27 seats going to them, 27 seats as on now being won by MVA and about 20 being won by Mahayuti. So this is certainly something that Eknath Shinde will have to consider and perhaps will have to reflect upon, especially Ajit Pawar, considering that they had split from their original parties and formed their own factions and join hands with the BJP, calling themselves the real original Sena and NCP. Let me just show you the visuals here. Let me just go across to a few workers here as well. आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे रिजल्ट के बारे में? क्या कहना चाहेंगे रिजल्ट के बारे में?
रिजल्ट तो बहुत अच्छा लगा है. शिवसेना पक्ष प्रमुख उद्धव जी ठाकरे साहब, उनको जो विजय मुद्रा दी है, सब महाराष्ट्र की जनता ने
खरे शिवसेना खरी दिखाया लोगों को शिवसेना किसकी है.
So that's the kind of sentiment on ground. We are the real Shiv Sena. This is what is being proved through these elections, through these results, is what many of the workers here feel. Sharad Pawar taking a press conference. We believe that Uddhav Thackeray may also take a press conference because this is clearly a big
पता चला शिव सेना किसकी है. I think that is going to be
this battle that Shiv Sena said that it would be. People will decide whether the real Shiv Sena is not who has the symbol or in fact the name. Saurabh, my colleague, is joining us at this moment. He's also standing in a state which is a remarkable turnaround state of this election. The big story coming in from West Bengal, while
and exit
everybody,
polls, when we talk about the exit polls getting it wrong, I think Saurabh, nowhere more than in West Bengal. Over to you.
Mamata Banerjee has the last laugh, Saurabh.
Absolutely. When those exit polls figures came out, the Trinamool scoffed at them, saying, we'll see you on the 4th of June. On the 4th of June, today, when the results are out, it's clear that the exit polls were way off the mark. The Trinamool has comprehensively beaten the BJP the second time between 2021 and 2024. And both times, exit polls predicted a massive victory for the BJP. None of the sort happened. It's the Trinamool which prevailed. Didi versus Modi was what had happened in this election. The Prime Minister held multiple rallies. The Prime Minister was involved very sincerely in the Bengal campaign. He took the battle to the TMC's doorstep. He was here. And let me tell you one thing. Sandesh Khali was something that was raised by the Trinamool Congress, the BJP, as something that they believed would yield electoral dividend as well. That hasn't happened. The BJP has won Boshirhat. I beg your pardon, the Trinamool has won Boshirhat by nearly 1 lakh or maybe a little over 1 lakh. We don't know how many it is actually, but it's over 1 lakh is what we were told earlier. And so that is something that's very clear, that Sandesh Khali as an election agenda hasn't worked. What happens here on is something that we don't know. And also what we know is, if I could list just a few issues apart from that, what seems to have gone, at least as far as the analysis of the Trinamool is concerned, is that one, Lokhir Bhandar, the stipend to women, that's worked on the ground. That was something we felt while covering the campaign, so much so that the BJP had to come around and say, we'll increase it to 3,000. Secondly, the other thing that worked was withholding of funds is something that the Trinamool ran a consistent campaign against. And also, before the elections, the Trinamool said they had used state funds to pay out some of those dues.
Okay.
That didn't go unnoticed by voters.
Right.
Thirdly, what the Trinamool latched on to was the Prime Minister's comment on eating fish when it came to Tejasvi Yadav. And Mamata Banerjee made it an election issue because you cannot separate fish and Bengalis. It's a very delicate issue here. And that's something that the Trinamool pounced upon as the Prime Minister made that comment. And the last issue was there were certain orders from the Calcutta High Court during the elections. Those orders, while they came from the court, the Trinamool and Mamata Banerjee in multiple rallies said the BJP was behind it.
She made
Voters
this election
seem to have
bought
that
undue
argument.
influence over the government of West Bengal. Two elections, 2022
Right,
Vidhan
sure
Sabha and 2024
We'll be
Lok
analysing
Sabha
this
election
for
now.
a while, but let's go across to Pratibha now, who joins us from Bengaluru. And Pratibha, so the Congress getting 10 finally is what the leads are showing, 18 for the BJP, and so the Congress doing fairly well. However, DK Shivkumar's brother losing.
In fact, not as jubilant as expected. I'm coming to you live from the BJP headquarters here, and as you can see, a couple of the followers here, not as per numbers. आप थोड़ा disappointed हैं?
डेफिनेटली हम 300 प्लस एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे थे और अभी भी काउंटिंग चल रही है, बहुत पीछे नहीं है, शायद हम 272 लेने जा रहे हैं। और मोदी जी के कार्य में निश्चित रूप से विकास कार्य काफ़ी हमने किया यहाँ पर। हमारी एक्सपेक्टेशन काफ़ी अच्छी थी और मुझे लगता है कि जनता ने हमारा साथ दिया और शायद कहीं ना कहीं कुछ हमारी एक्सपेक्टेशन से शायद हम पीछे रह गए हैं।
कर्नाटका के परफॉर्मेंस के बारे में आपकी राय क्या है?
कर्नाटका में हमने अच्छा परफॉर्मेंस किया। यहाँ के स्टेट के जो स्टेट प्रेसिडेंट और यहाँ के स्टेट नेतृत्व ने बहुत ही अच्छा प्रदर्शन किया। लोगों से हमारा एक अच्छा कनेक्ट था और कर्नाटका में मोदी जी से लोगों का एक अच्छा कनेक्ट है और जिसका बिल्कुल लाभ मिला है।
Well, if you look at 2019 numbers, yes, the BJP had succeeded in gaining at least around 25 of the 28 seats. It has definitely come down to 18 with the Congress bagging 10 of those seats like you mentioned here. So that has definitely not gone down well with the BJP supporters as well as what you see in the BJP camp. There were several of the dancers who were ready to dance, but then all of them now just seated on the stairs of the BJP headquarters here. But then will this really affect the state leadership here? I did speak with the leader of opposition from Karnataka, Mr. R. Ashok. Please do watch that.
We have with us Karnataka's leader of opposition, Mr. R. Ashok. So thank you so much for joining us. So the numbers not as per expectations in the BJP camp?
Yeah, naturally we expected our aim is we will cross the 400. But for the encouragement of party workers, we given a slogan of 400. But actually we thought we will cross 350. But now we are not reaching 350 also, more than 50 seats minus now. So the result is not happy, but better. We will form the government. That is the good thing. Number two agendas. One, Narendra Modi will become the Prime Minister. That is one agenda. Second agenda is we will cross the 400. But 400 is not possible now. But another one agenda will pass now.
All right. So interesting, in fact, results there in Karnataka as well. Let me go across now and take you to Punjab and Haryana, where my colleague Gurpreet China is joining us. Very, very interesting results, Gurpreet. First of all, talking about Punjab, the Aam Aadmi Party not making the kind of inroads or the victory that they would have hoped for being in the government, while the Congress is sort of making a comeback. And interesting is what is happening in Khadur Sahib as well.
Well, yes, of course. Somewhere down the lane, it seems Aam Aadmi Party development model has not been accepted by the people of Punjab, and specifically free electricity and other facilities which has been given by Aam Aadmi Party. And so many times we have seen they have been boasting that they had provided a lot of things to the people of Punjab, and this development agenda will definitely work for this Lok Sabha elections. Now, if we can see the political calculation at this point of time, we have seen Aam Aadmi Party hasn't crossed more than 3 seats. At the same time, we have seen Shiromani Akali Dal has got 1 seat from Bathinda and 2 independents, specifically from Khadur Sahib. We have seen jailed Amritpal. He is able to make a mark in this election. At the same time, in Faridkot, an independent candidate, he is able to win from there. Neither the Aam Aadmi Party nor the BJP nor the Akali Dal, they were able to even win that's a Faridkot seat. At the same time, we have seen the Congress is able to make a comeback. We have seen there was a lot of discussion at the time when this India alliance was being forged at the national capital, and specifically Punjab leaders, they had been protesting against this alliance. But today it seems that has really worked out in the state of Punjab. If we can talk about Haryana also, we have seen so many times the BJP candidate, they say they will be in a position to win all the 10 seats, but we have seen Bhupinder Hooda's son Dipinder Hooda made a very well entry into this Lok Sabha elections. At the same time, we have seen Kumari Shailja, he has made a big margin there. So these are the situations which we can guess, and it seems that the farmer protest has also played a major role in both the states. And somewhere down the lane in Punjab, we have seen the BJP is not able to even open its account despite so many rallies were being held by Prime Minister there.
Right.
Back to studio.
Right. Well, let's now, thanks so much, Gurpreet, for joining us. You know, with a roundup of Punjab and Haryana, and Amritpal Singh winning is quite significant, but is interesting rather. Let's go across to Vasudha now, who joins us from the BJP headquarters. And Vasudha, first tell us what's happening around you, and what is the strategy now, given that, you know, the numbers haven't been quite what the BJP expected?
Absolutely, Gargi and Ankit, you know, right from the morning, in the morning when I came here, there was like a lot of euphoria. There were like laddus and jalebis and puris being made. But of course, you know, when the numbers came out, there has been a certain sense of disappointment. There's been anxiety, of course. But, you know, this is a party that believes in preparations. UP has been the biggest setback for the party. And what I understand when I speak to leaders is that they've already started thinking about what the problems were. You know, clearly the gains made by Narendra Modi in 2014 and 2017 with the whole non-Yadav OBC and non-Jatav Dalits moving to the BJP has been completely undone in the last few months. So clearly those, if you look at the Pasi belt from Amethi, Sultanpur, Prayagraj, BJP is actually trailing in a place like Prayagraj. So these are extremely worrying signals for the BJP. So that's why it is really worried about. But of course, it has, very consolatory prizes here, like, Odisha government it's forming. But clearly that's nothing in comparison to to losing core areas, core states like Uttar Pradesh and Maharashtra. What I understand right now is, like, we know there's a meeting, high-profile meeting going on in Mr. Nadda's house. Mr. Nadda is the president of the BJP. There have been meetings yesterday as well. Rajnath Singh, the defense minister, has just left from the house. The meeting seems to be ending. Prime Minister Narendra Modi was expected to come here around 7 o'clock. People tell me that that program is still on, but sources are saying that there is a lot of, like, boardroom discussion. There's a lot of, like, there's a lot of, like, discussions going on as to what needs to be done. Remember, both JDU and TDP will want a special category status for their respective states, Bihar and Andhra Pradesh. Is that something that BJP would want to give? Is there a rethink on the kind of leadership that they have, that they would want to have? And most importantly, even if the NDA government forms the government, which looks like it is possible, although BJP guys are hoping that the party reaches 250, it is almost a certainty that there will be a lot of emphasis on social inclusion and representation, because the UP game seems to have completely gone wrong for them.
Right.
All right, as Vasudha was in fact saying that there is an important meeting going at Mr. Nadda's residence. My colleague Vedant is at Mr. Nadda's residence. Vedant, of course, this is now going to be the next important hot center in what happens for the next 24 hours.
That's right. In fact, Rajnath Singh just left Mr. Nadda's residence a short while back. The Home Minister is still inside. That key meeting is still underway. As I was telling you earlier as well, what sources tell us is that there are two aspects to this meeting. As Vasudha is pointing out, the key focus right now is the messaging as far as the allies are concerned. Both Chandrababu Naidu and Nitish Kumar, and key allies in Bihar, including, of course, Jitan Ram Manjhi and Chirag Paswan, have been reached out to. And right now, what sources are telling us is that the focus is on sending out a unified message, as is the standard practice when it comes to the BJP. The Prime Minister's plan is expected to go as per schedule. Soon after the Home Minister leaves, there will be PM route where I'm at right now, and the Prime Minister will be going to the BJP headquarters. That is what sources are telling us, and he will make that quote-unquote victory speech from the BJP headquarters. Karyakartas have already started assembling there at the BJP office in the national capital. So that will go as per plan.
Though we're told they're muted, but thanks so much, Vedant, for joining us. With that, it is going to be a return to coalition politics, so that's going to be interesting to see for us, Ankit, at least for the next couple of years.
Absolutely. After the landslides of 2014 and 19, it seems the elections are going back to where they started, or where they were, the manner they were in from 1998 onwards. That's Mr. Chugh, Secretary of the Bharatiya Janata Party, in celebration mode at the BJP headquarters. We're slipping into a short break. News and updates on the other side will continue on this big election day here on NDTV.